Governor Katie Hobbs recently signed a bill that allows homeowners to remove racist or discriminatory language from their housing deeds. These covenants have long been unenforceable, but they're still included in the deeds of a number of older homes in the Valley. Attorney Diane Post joins us now for more on this. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, so talk to me about these things, because I've always heard that some really older homes in the Phoenix area, in Canto, Palmcroft, Willow, these kinds of places that have been around forever, they're full of these things, aren't they?
And mine too.
Yours too?
Mine too.
Wow.
It was built in 1930. Yes, prior to 1948, the redlining was very prominent. It's been prominent up to 1968, actually. So many homes and subdivisions had these covenants put on them. Mine says that my house can be sold to no one but a Caucasian. Others specifically name groups that it cannot be sold to: Asians, Mexicans, Negroes, Jews. So yes, they're littered all over throughout the city in older homes. In 1948, the Supreme Court said you could not, that the court would not enforce the covenant. But they continued to be put on the homes until 1968, when the Fair Housing Act passed.
Wow, 1968.
68.
Okay, so now you're living in a home and you're curious and you go look at the deed. If you hadn't looked at it closely before, you're looking at it now and you go, wait a second, I don't like this. What does this law allow you to do?
Well, that happened. Lots of people did go look at it.
Yes.
And went, whoa, we didn't even know this. What it allows you to do is file a simple piece of paper. It's included in the bill, so it will be up on the website. And it's 2 pieces of paper. You fill out basically your name, your address, your legal description, and you say, I want to amend my deed to remove the illegal restrictive covenants. And then you record it at the recorders for $30. That's it. If you live in an HOA or a planned community, you can also do it by going to the board of the planned community, the HOA, and ask them to do it. Now, they do not have to go through the entire procedure of changing a CC&R or anything like that, because it's already illegal.
But this suggests that before signing this law, if I had a home that had this kind of covenant, I couldn't, and I don't want it there. I don't like it. I want it out of there. I couldn't do anything about it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's how this started. It was a professor at U of A who had moved here and purchased a home, and he saw it in the deed. And he said, what is this? And he called a real estate agent. Well, he was married. It said there couldn't be any Negroes. Well, his wife was black, or his spouse was black. And therefore, he was very angry and called the real estate agent and said, what is this? And he said, never mind, it's outdated, it can't be enforced, that sort of thing. I don't want it in there.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way to get it out. So he called the Tucson NAACP and asked them, can you do something about this? Well, they called me because I'm the lobbyist. And so here we are.
There we are indeed. How many homes? I mean, first, before we get to numbers, I'm from numbers, but what areas of town are we talking about here?
Well, 2 areas of town, primarily the downtown, which has older homes that were built, mine 90 years ago, that sort of thing. So the older homes, and then the subdivisions that are sprinkled around in the outer lying areas that were built before 1968. So remember, it doesn't need anything newer than 1968. So in Tucson, where the guy came from, he did a mapping of the homes in Tucson that had this on it. And he found certain areas which were very prevalent, and that was the downtown area and then the areas of older subdivisions. So that's where you're going to find them.
Okay, that's where you're going to find them. That's where homeowners can now go and have all of this done, scrubbed clean, and it's over and it's done with.
Well, it isn't scrubbed clean.
Well, it's from the deed.
It's not scrubbed from the deed.
It's not I thought you could remove it.
No. Because of chain of title, you can't actually remove it from the deed, and the deed is not going to be reprinted because that would cost enormous. That's a problem when they did this in California. They couldn't reprint all the deeds. So it's going to be an amendment to the deed. So it won't be you won't get a new deed. You will have an amendment to the deed, and it'll be on the record. So the other reason that this remained was for historical research.
Oh.
Historians came out when we're working on this and said, we want it to remain in the deed for historical purposes. You don't want 100 years from now historians to look back and say, oh, we never did this, because we did do it.
Oh, how interesting.
We did do it.
We did do it. You would think that there would be other ways to do that kind of research, but apparently not.
You have to have the piece of paper.
Yeah.
So it isn't actually removed from the paper. There's an addendum put on it or an amendment put on it that is recorded.
So if the Smith family is selling their home and they got the deed there, and say, I sure don't want people to think that I bought this house because I thought of this, that there would be an amendment saying the Smith family understands and they want this out of here.
And they did, yes.
Was there any argument against this legislation?
None.
I can't imagine anyone saying this is no good.
Everyone was for it. I mean, the HOAs were for it. The land title people were for it. The real estate agents were for it. Everybody was for it. They wanted it themselves because they didn't want this in there. But it hadn't happened yet.
Last question here. You mentioned Tucson, you mentioned Phoenix. Are there other parts of the state where this applies?
Oh, absolutely. It would be in every city. It'd be everywhere in the state. Of course it would.
They had those covenants in Flagstaff.
I'm sure they did.
Holy smokes.
They had them everywhere.
Well, good work there. Congratulations on that. This is very enlightening, Diane Post. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.